Hello, and welcome back to Market House, the podcast where we talk all things Disney. My name is Caleb, and I am the host of this show. And we are actually going to talk about some fun stuff this week since we just returned from a kind of a long week of traveling. The first trip was, of course, Disneyland during Halloween time, so this was our October trip. Actually went with some family. It was my brother's late graduation kind of celebration. So he, of course, graduated in summer from high school. And like most folk, we really don't want to go, number one, when it's insanely busy. And number two, when it's, feels like the surface of the sun down in Southern California. So we decided to kind of delay the celebration until the fall so we can get some cool weather, but I'll dive into how that plan didn't exactly work like we thought it would, but it was the thought that counts. But and then also we were down in the Santa Barbara area for a friend's wedding, which was beautiful, and that was some amazing weather. So just a fun week of travel. Definitely glad to be home. Nice to sleep in your own bed for a couple nights and also just kind of relax. So, and we're actually, as I'm recording this, we're experiencing like the first storm of the season. So California finally has some rain and it is absolutely delightful. So it's been raining all day and it's windy and there's, rain slapping the windows and it's just a wonderful sound. So totally in the fall spirit right now, kind of Halloween spirit, and enjoying this weather. So let's go ahead and dive into the news. Our first item is Genie Plus has, Genie and Genie Plus, I guess, has launched in Disney World. So, both Genie, the planning service, and Genie Plus, the kind of new Fast Pass service, has launched in Walt Disney World. And so the planning side of the service, Genie, is getting some mixed reviews, which does not surprise me since it feels like every Disney product recently is getting mixed reviews. But it seems like the people that are following it, right? Again, just a reminder, and we talked about this last week, but Genie is the basically souped up touring plans, if you've heard of them. So it's integrated in the Disney World app, and it is again, ask for your preferences before your trip, and it will suggest what rides to do and what entertainment to go to throughout your day. So, let's say it's 11 o'clock, and it's saying, hey, in 15 minutes, you should make your way over to Haunted Mansion, since that's the best time to ride it today. Again, I'm not sure exactly what info it's using and what kind of metrics and all that stuff and data it's using to make those suggestions, but I'm assuming it's pretty accurate or pretty smart. But the one complaint I've seen pretty consistently is that if you follow it exactly as it recommends, you are walking all across the park. So there's really no rhyme or reason as to where you're going. It'll be like, it'll suggest Big Thunder and Frontierland, and then it's going to haul you all the way over to Tomorrowland, or Tomorrowland all the way over to Fantasyland. So you're going to be walking a long ways through the day. Again, if you're, prioritize shorter waits, I think that is good. It's just you're going to get your steps in. So not exactly sure. I'm not going to really, make my final judgment on the service until I use it personally. But it could be worse, I guess. It's not like people absolutely hate it or despise it yet, like most things that are being announced by Disney. And Genie Plus, so the paid Fast Pass service, essentially, what was once free, you now pay for, that's acting just like the old Fast Pass system. So there's not really much to report on there. Again, if you want what we had over in Disneyland Max Pass, essentially, remember when we had that, $15, I think, a day. Now it's $20 with Genie, but you pay $20 per day per person, and you get Fast Passes again. So again, not much to report there. It's just, it works just like the old system so far. And then Lightning Lane, the a la carte lines. This is so confusing. The a la carte service, for Rise of the Resistance, for Radiator Springs, Cars, whatever. The Cars ride, you know what I'm talking about. Those things. those seem to be selling out very quickly. So I know I mentioned Cars. This is only in Disney World so far, but apparently Rise of the Resistance is selling out in the first like hour of park opening. So if you want to ride that ride and pay the, whatever it is, extra $15 a person, then do that early because they sell out pretty quick. Or you're going to be waiting in that standby line, which is like 2 hours long. So that's Genie Plus. It is out. We'll be curious to see what people's thoughts are as people try it more and more. Next up, we have Disney's response to Magic Key reservation complaints, and it was less of a response, a verbal response, and more of a "okay, we hear you," and silently dropping a ton of reservations on the Magic Key reservations calendar. So, again, just to inform you if you haven't seen this already, but Twitter. Even local news outlets like, is it KTLA, the local, local news, kind of picked up on these stories of, people legitimately complaining that, hey, I bought this Magic Key, again, let's say the Dream Key, the people that paid $1,400, hey, I paid for this thing, and I know that I need reservations. I've got no blockout dates, but I can't even get a reservation like in 2 months on a weekend. So the weekend reservations were very popular, and they were booking up very quickly. So, rightfully so, I think, folks were complaining. And we actually ran into this on our trip, which I will dive into during the trip report in a second. But yeah, people were complaining, going, hey, I can't even go to the park on any weekend for the next 3 months. I think that's a problem. So, instead of replying really on Twitter or doing a press release or anything, Disney just kind of quietly released more reservations overnight. So people woke up to a ton of reservations available in October. Of course, those were quickly booked up within the day that they were released. So thanks, but no thanks, I think it was like kind of a halfway fix, but they released more. They were booked very quickly. And so not exactly a solution. Again, like we talked about last episode, if you want to hear more about what I think about it, you can go back and listen to it. I don't want to repeat myself. But there's clearly a problem with the reservation system. It's not working, and they need to either open up more, again, change that mix up to where there's, even 50-50 on ticket holders and 50% Magic Key holders. I don't know what that mix looks like right now, but something needs to be done or people are not going to renew next year. So just another kind of development in the Magic Key reservation story. Christmas decor is starting to go up in Disneyland. The trees around Grizzly Peak, those big pine trees, over by Grizzly River Run, they're getting their lights on and their garland, and the castle already has its snow being added. So again, not even close to being done, but it has started. So super excited to see those decorations come up. I don't know about you, but I am so ready for Christmas. Yes, we are that weird couple who start Christmas in early November, pretty much the first week of November, just like Disney. So we are giant fans of Christmas and giant fans of Christmas at the park. And we're actually planning a trip, hopefully catching the Christmas season there in the next couple of months and just kind of experiencing that magic since we haven't been for Christmas time in quite a while. I think it's been a few years. So excited to see it all decorated. The one complaint, if I had to complain about one thing, and if I could fix it, it would be the music they play for Christmas time throughout the park gets a little old after like the first day. So if you have a multi-day trip there, you'll be like, oh, I'm tired of hearing the same version of Jingle Bells or Silent Night over and over and over again. And some of them are kind of eerie and creepy. So not the biggest fan of the Christmas music they play there. I wish they just played the normal Main Street music and all that good stuff. But it's pretty hard to have a bad time at Disney during Christmas. So not going to complain too much. But Christmas is starting at Disneyland pretty soon. Our final news story has to do with Christmas again, but Plaza Point, the new Christmas shop on Main Street, has opened. This location is going to sell Christmas decor all season. So if you're feeling the Christmas spirit in August, you can totally buy some Christmas decorations at Disneyland. So it's kind of like, I know Disney World has their own. I don't know what the name is, excuse me. But they also have a all year round Christmas shop. So we're getting one now. It's replacing that old PhotoPass store. It was the Kodak PhotoPass Center or something like that. So when you can go buy old school, print out photos with paper, physical photos, not on a screen. So those are a little antiquated now. So they've replaced that with a Christmas shop, an all year round Christmas shop. So super excited to see how it's set up and what kind of merch they hold there. So we'll definitely be visiting during our next visit to the park. Okay, it is trip report time. So like I mentioned before, we just returned from our October Disneyland trip. Again, it was for my brother's, he just graduated high school, so it was for his kind of a celebration, his graduation celebration, and it was our first time going with family in years. So my wife and I usually go together and kind of keep it like that. We just go by ourselves and have a great time, but it's different with a big group, and it is fun. It's a different kind of fun. You get to enjoy the rides you've ridden a million times with people that haven't been there in a while, and it's just a different kind of vibe for the trip. So had a blast, super, super fun. At the end of the day, it's a blast to go with friends, super fun time to go with family, and so no different here. Had a really good time. But the park was insanely busy. So we went, of course the weekends are very busy. So we went Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Those were our park days. And it sure as heck feels like it's at 100% capacity. I know it's not, but it is really busy. The walkways are just like back to normal. The Adventureland area is super packed. You've got the New Orleans Square, that big bottleneck there that's been a problem for years is a bottleneck again. And so, yeah, there are definitely parts of the park where you're like, this feels like 100% capacity. So, again, I think that's due to there not being a lot of shows, daytime shows, to kind of suck people up. So you have to imagine, you remember the Frozen play, you have to think of the daytime parades, Mickey's Magical Map. Those entertainment options would suck up thousands and thousands of people out of the walkways and out of the lines. There's none of that anymore. So you've got everybody walking around in the shops and in the rides. That's it. So there's really no entertainment to suck those people up. So I think that's where we're kind of feeling that is the lack of entertainment, and so lack of crowd disbursement throughout the park. So that's something to look out for in your next trip. It's back. It feels back to normal. I know we're not there 100%, but it sure as heck feels like we're 75, 80% there. So plan for long lines. Yeah, so I mentioned it earlier. We plan to go in the fall time because, the fall time usually brings cooler weather. Unfortunately for us, it was 90 flipping degrees in October. It shouldn't surprise me that much since it's Southern California. It's consistently warm there, but 90 degrees, come on, in October is a little insane. So it was hot, to say the least. We were thankful that it cooled down at night though, and that was super nice. It wasn't, it wasn't terrible at nighttime. So the winds would pick up. The sun would set, of course, like it does at nighttime. The moon comes up, the sun sets, and cool down significantly. So that was nice, a nice break from the sun. But yeah, folks, man, check the weather before you go. I feel like that's kind of a duh thing, but yikes, it was warm. But we had hotels booked, flights booked. It's kind of too late at that point to switch things up, but still a fun time. But a little bit of sweat was involved. But yeah, so let's go ahead and kind of review our experience and kind of go over what's going well, what's not going well at the park, and we'll start with the negatives first so we can get those out of the way, and we will end with the positive things, what's great about Disney still. And to start off is, I'm going to just go back to it. I know I've mentioned it a million times, but the reservation system does not work, and it still does not work to this day. So we had multiple parties because, all of us paid for tickets. We had season passes, the rest of them didn't. So they paid for tickets through the app and all that good stuff, linked it to their Disney app. And so we have 3 different parties. And my family were able to get reservations for DCA and Disneyland. I'm not going to go into the details because you don't care. But they were able to get the setup that we needed. So, starting off at the park at Disneyland, ending in DCA, how the park hopper works and the reservations, all that good stuff, they had the good setup. We weren't able to get the reservations because we kind of switched some stuff. I mean, I wouldn't consider last minute. It was about a month and a half before. But by the time we went to switch those reservations, they were gone for those park days. So we were kind of like, oh, what are we going to do? We've got the wrong park for our last day. We're not going to be with them for half the day. This, sucks a little bit. How do we fix this? So I called in saying there has to be a better way, folks. We were going with multiple parties. Can you guys switch it for me? And they were like, no, sorry, bud. Better luck next time. Just basically spend all day on that park reservation calendar and just click refresh every few seconds and hopefully you get it. And so we did that for like 3 days straight. And right when Disneyland opened up, that's the one I needed. Disneyland opened up. I went in my app. I went to cancel our existing reservation and book it. And by the time I did that, it was gone. And not only was it gone, but our reservation for DCA had disappeared. So I had no park reservations for Sunday for like 2 weeks. And so my wife and I were like, I don't even know if we can go to the park with you guys on Sunday, which is a problem, right? So that was super frustrating. And I called a second time, I think, and they, again, same response, like, sorry, bud, can't do anything for you. So we were super discouraged, kind of upset at how they handled it. I know they probably have thousands of people calling with the same problem, which should be an indication of what you should change. But I won't go down that rabbit hole. But at the end of the day, we had a great experience at California Adventure and their version of City Hall. The name, I don't think it's called City Hall there. I think it's called something else, but I'm not remembering what that's called. But I believe it was a cast member. She was wonderful. Her name was Megan, I think. And we told her our situation, and she was totally sweet and understanding and said, I totally get it. This reservation system is interesting. She was very nice about it, very politically correct with her opinion on the reservation system. But she said, I totally understand what you're going through. Let me get that switched. We want you to be with your family on the last day. 2 people. Switching over to Disneyland is not going to break the park. So she was able to switch that over for us. She was very nice. And the one cast member that understood her situation, after calling twice, she was the nice one and actually had it switched for us. So super thankful to her and kind of saving our trip at the end there. And yeah, I mean, there has to be, and she mentioned this, she's like, there has to be a better way to do these reservations. And she made a good point. Like, why do I have to cancel and then rebook? Why can't I just swap out a reservation? So you're not forfeiting an existing reservation to try and get a new one, and you can just swap it, and it could just, I don't know. There's so many alternatives that would be so much better for the system, but for some reason, Disney's just sticking with this very frustrating process. So reservations need some work. I think everybody knows that. So kind of a duh. But yeah, reservations, I hate them, and I hope they go away sometime soon. But yeah, dining, another headache for us. So again, you're going to run into the occasional, hey, I'd like to eat here. And then you go to put in your order, and they go, sorry, you can eat in 2 hours if you'd like. So if you'd like lunch at 3:30, feel free to come back. And I would like to eat earlier than that. So we ended up switching kind of plans last minute when mobile orders were pushed out for hours and hours. But the consistent thing we experienced this time, which is super frustrating for us allergy folks, but to order gluten-free items on the app is a total headache now. So what once was a normal thing, I could order it just like everybody else, go down to the dietary restricted menu, click it, gluten-free, order it, and pick it up like the rest of you folks. Now it just isn't an option for some restaurants. So I noticed that for like Jolly Holiday, I couldn't order a gluten-free something, and I was like, what the heck? So ended up eating somewhere else, and then it happened at Aliens Pizza Planet or whatever, what used to be Red Rocket's Pizza Port for us old folks, over in Tomorrowland. So went to order gluten-free pizza, which I know they've had. I've had it 1,500 times, and it was not on there. So I'm like, what the heck? Like, that has to be there. So I walked over and grabbed a cast member and said, hey, man, I think there's a bug on the app. Can you help me out here? And he's like, oh, no, it's not a bug. We took it off, the gluten-free options. And I was like, why? And he's like, oh, people were complaining that we weren't starting to make the food until you guys got here. They were confused that we didn't start making it when you ordered it. And I'm like, I I don't think you start it for normal food either. I think that's just kind of how it works. And is that how we handle things now? We just kind of go, oh, people are confused, just remove it, period. And they can come stand in line for 45 minutes. I'm like, that's not a solution. So I'm kind of confused. I'm not sure if he's just maybe misunderstanding the reasoning, or maybe there is just a legit app problem. But yeah, ordering gluten-free right now is a absolute pain. I know there's other allergens out there, so egg friendly or soy, whatever. So yeah, if you've got allergies in the family, I don't know. I mean, my only suggestion is if they don't have it, they most likely do have a gluten-free option. You just have to walk up and stand in line and ask them when you get up there. I don't know. It's a broken system. Hopefully it's fixed by the time we go again. But some more dining issues seems to be kind of a common occurrence now at the parks. So let's talk about what's working at the parks and what the positive experiences that we had at Disneyland. So the parks are starting to feel more normal, and even though that comes with bigger crowds and more waiting, it just feels good to have Disneyland back at a place where there's a ton of people all having fun, in line, experiencing great entertainment and attractions. And yeah, it feels like Disneyland pre-pandemic. Again, we're short some shows, we're short some experiences, and the trams, and we're definitely short some stuff. But the energy is back, if that makes sense. So the fireworks at night are just amazing, like usual. So having a ton of kids out, watching the fireworks all together was a welcome change. And, you've got tons of characters out now. So again, it's socially distanced meet and greets still, but they're out welcoming people and saying hello, and you can take pictures with them. And there's a ton of them. So like every corner, I mean, you turn the corner and there's Winnie the Pooh, and you turn the other corner, there's Goofy, and there's Donald, and there's Mickey and Minnie. They're everywhere. So that is super cool. So if you're the folks that like to get pictures with them, now's the time to do it, since they seem to be out in bigger numbers than usual. And the cavalcades, right? Those mini parades that kind of go around. We don't have the full-on parades yet. That doesn't return until Christmas time, so next month. But the cavalcades are nice, right? It's a short little loop. They come through. There's a few floats, few characters, and it's fun, right? Music's blasting on Main Street again. It's just a fun time. The shopping, merch it's selling out, which is, sucky for some folks if you don't get it in time. But the merchandise, seems to be just like coming in and flowing right off the shelves. So we're back to hot items, to grab at the park. And it's just exciting to have things to be looking forward to and all that good stuff. So folks, if you want a Black Spirit jersey, I learned the hard way, wanted to get one for my wife, and saw it at the beginning of the trip and was like, oh, that's good to know. It's right there at that shop there. Cool. We'll come back in, a few hours and grab it. And went back to that same shop and they were all gone. Went to another shop, they were all gone. And just to shorten this story, I went to about 12 different stores in the Disneyland and Disney California Adventure parks, and they were sold out everywhere. I was lucky, and there was like 2 left in her size at some little tiny, I don't even remember the name, shop on Main Street, and was like, I'll take it. Like, the whole like run over, tackle somebody, punch them in the gut a couple times, grab it from their hand. I'm just kidding. It was a like mad dash. So like I saw it, like quick walked, didn't want to look stupid, but quick walked over, grabbed it, and then bought it right there on the spot. So if you want the hot items like the Black Spirit jersey, definitely buy it in the in the early parts of your trip. Don't wait till the end like most people do. Like, hey, we'll shop at the end. It's the easy. We don't want to take it around the park all day. Just throw it in the backpack. Trust me, you don't want to hunt for it all trip. So yeah, that is the merch situation. Fun things to look forward to, but they sell out quick. And the Hyatt Regency, we stayed there this time. It's the big kind of conference hotel down by Target is the best way I can describe it. It's a walk. If you're going to walk it, it's like a 35 minute walk from the hotel to the park. So it is a trek, but they do offer shuttle service. It's like $6 a day per person, I think, for adults, $4, I think, per kid, if I'm not mistaken. But let me tell you, they did a refurb or renovation for half the rooms in the hotel. You'll have to ask them which rooms are renovated, but it is a really good kind of freshen up of the hotel. It was a really nice stay. So, and it wasn't super expensive like most hotels down there. So if you're looking for a solid hotel room, I would suggest the Hyatt Regency and just pay for the shuttle because you'll save per night being a little farther away, and the shuttle's not super expensive. Or if you want to get your steps in, you can walk. It's a little over a mile. So very good stay at the Hyatt Regency. A shout out to the Hyatt folks. Whoop, whoop. If you're listening, all my Hyatt folks, what up? I'm just kidding. No one from Hyatt listens to my thing. Oh, God. But yeah, it was a fun trip. Disneyland is so much fun with a group of people, and that was a nice reminder this last trip, and we just had an absolute blast. If you have a chance to go with your family, your parents, your brothers, your sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles, the whole fam, bring them along. It is so much stinking fun to see the pictures afterwards of the attraction photos and, all you guys eating, stuff in your face with pizza. It's just a fun time. So I suggest if you are going down with family, enjoy it, soak it up, and just have a good time. So yeah, I think that is actually going to do it, folks. That is the trip report. Overall, a great trip. Had a blast. Stay tuned for some more fun, wacky episodes coming up here in the next couple weeks. We'll continue to talk all things Disney like we usually do. And make sure to follow us on Instagram if you're not already at Market House Podcast. My wife has been killing it there, posting all our trip pictures and fun stories and all the fun stuff, the Twitters and the tweets and the Instagrams and the didgeridoo's, and it's a fun. She understands all that stuff. It kind of goes over my head, all that social media stuff. I ain't so good at it. So she does a really good job with that. So make sure to follow us there if you're not. But join us next week for another episode of Market House. I can't wait to see you there. And yeah, you know what? Since this is kind of our last episode before Halloween, I don't know why I said it that way, Halloween, I'm going to kind of play it out. Instead of our usual kind of outro music, I'm going to end it with my own recording, thanks to my iPhone, of the area around Haunted Mansion Holiday. So I stuck my phone through the gate and just kind of recorded for a little bit. You can kind of hear the ambiance, the people talking, the music playing, and we can kind of have a nice spooky outro together. So folks, have a great Halloween. We will catch ya next week.